We've all seen it happen, right? You're planning that perfect getaway, you find a great hotel, but the minute you try to book over a holiday weekend, the price has just exploded. It feels like they're targeting you personally. Well, today we're going to put on our manager hats and look at this not as a personal slight, but as a classic microeconomics case study. This is all about the mechanics of supply and demand.
So, let's pose the central question. Why does this happen? Is it just corporate greed, a simple case of hotels trying to squeeze every last dollar out of you, or is it something more structural? Is it a rational, predictable response to powerful market forces? That's what we're going to dissect. All right, to really understand the chaos of a price surge, we have to start with the calm. We need to establish a baseline. In economics, we call this the market equilibrium. Think of it as the market's resting state, where the forces of supply and demand are perfectly balanced.
Let's set our scene. We're looking at the hotels in a beautiful destination, Tanjung Lesung, but on any given normal week. There's no holiday, no special event. It's just business as usual. The flow of guests is predictable, and so are the prices. This stability is absolutely key.
And that stable price is 750,000 rupiah per night. Now, this isn't just a random number. This is our first equilibrium point, what we'll call E1. At this specific price, the quantity of rooms that hotels want to supply perfectly matches the quantity of rooms that travelers demand. The market clears. There's no long line of people wanting rooms they can't get, and hotels aren't sitting on a bunch of empty rooms. It's efficient, for now.
And then, the calm is shattered. The market gets hit by what economists call a demand shock. This is a sudden external event that radically changes the number of people who want to buy a product at any given price.
The shock, in our case, is the start of the Eid Holiday. Suddenly, you have a massive population with time off and the desire to travel, and a whole lot of them decide Tanjung Lesung is the place to be. The pool of potential customers doesn't just grow, it multiplies almost overnight.
So, let's visualize this from an economic perspective. The original demand is our curve D1. The holiday doesn't just move us to a different point on that curve. No, it creates an entirely new demand reality. The entire curve shifts massively to the right, to D2. This is critical. It means that at the old price of 750K, and in fact at every possible price, the quantity of rooms demanded is now substantially higher than it was before.
So, you have this huge tidal wave of new demand. The logical business response would be to just create more supply, right? Offer more rooms to meet the demand. Well, in the real world, especially in the short term, that's just not possible. We've just run smack into a wall.
The technical term for this wall is inelastic supply. It means that your ability to produce more of something is severely limited, at least in the short run, no matter how high the price goes. A hotel is the perfect example. You have a fixed number of rooms. That's your inventory.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the concept of short-run constraints. Sure, in the long run, over a year or two, a hotel can respond to consistently high demand by building an extension. But for this specific holiday weekend, the supply is fixed. It's a vertical line on our graph. They simply cannot conjure more rooms out of thin air.
So let's recap the situation from a manager's perspective. We have a massive, sudden surge in demand, represented by our new D2 curve, and it's crashing against a completely inflexible vertical supply curve. So what gives? When an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, something has to happen.
The market has to find a new equilibrium. And since the quantity of rooms can't increase to accommodate the new demand, the entire adjustment pressure is forced onto the only variable that can move, the price. All of that consumer desire, all that competition for a limited number of rooms gets channeled directly into pushing that price tag upwards.
And here's the result of that pressure. The new market clearing price isn't 750,000 rupiah anymore. It's now 1.4 million rupiah, nearly double. At this new, higher price, the number of people willing and able to pay for a room once again perfectly matches the fixed number of rooms available. We have found our new equilibrium, E2.
Now, what we've just walked through isn't happening by accident. It's not a manager guessing a new price. This is a deliberate, systematic strategy that is fundamental to the travel and hospitality industry. It's called dynamic pricing, and in today's world, it's run by sophisticated algorithms. These systems are watching booking rates in real time. As occupancy climbs for a specific date, signaling that demand is outstripping the remaining supply, the algorithm automatically and incrementally raises the price for the rooms that are left. It's a real-time application of the supply and demand principles we just discussed. From a purely economic standpoint, this price increase serves a crucial function. It's a rationing mechanism. Think about it. When there are more people who want rooms than there are rooms available, how do we decide who gets one? We could have a lottery or a first-come, first-served system. The market's answer is price. The higher price ensures that the scarce resource, the hotel rooms, are allocated to the consumers who value them the most, as demonstrated by their willingness to pay the new, higher rate.
And this brings us to the big, final question that every business student and manager has to wrestle with. From a textbook perspective, dynamic pricing is incredibly efficient. It allocates a scarce resource perfectly and maximizes revenue. But is it fair? Does it create a system where only the wealthy can afford to travel during peak times? This is where economic theory collides with ethics and business strategy. It's something to think about next time you see that price jump.